The following may contain language which will be offensive to some people and inappropriate for children. Still here? Then pour your favorite beverage and let's get this fucking show started.
Fantastic Forum, assemble. We're back. We're back and going at it live. Me and Larry are going at it live in front of your eyes on your screen. And we're back with another show for you. This week we're talking about Why the Last Man. It's on FX on Hulu. And there's about 3 episodes ready. And yeah, that's what we're going to talk about today. Yeah, I can hear you. But you probably can't hear me. But yeah, we're also going to be talking about Squid Game, which is on Netflix. And that's a Korean thriller drama. I don't know what they call it. We're probably going to have another discussion. It's not a thriller because it's Korean or something. But we'll get to that later. In the meantime, we got the usual suspects here. We got Larry right here.
Hello. My voice is weird. Forgive me.
And then we have Jay. And he probably can't hear me.
Jay, can you not hear Moses? Oh, Jay, can you not hear me? Jay can't hear anybody.
Yeah.
Jay.
Okay.
Hey, can you hear me?
Now I can't. But the issue is I can't hear you through my headphones.
What are your headphones plugged into?
The sound box.
In the monitor section? Or the
In the headphone section.
Is there a monitor section? Let's see.
Look at that little baby soundboard. That's so cute. It's like, oh, it's a boy. It's a boy.
One of those buttons should be a monitor button. It might be pressed up or pressed down. But yeah.
Can he hear us?
Yeah, because we're on the speaker now.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I'm playing you through the tablet.
That's so
But
weird.
if I switch it back to the headphone, I'm gonna try that again.
Should we be talking?
Yeah, it's probably a weird setting. In the meantime, the lady can tell you how you can get, if you want to join in, comment, give us some tech support. She'll give you all the details on how to do that.
Want to get in on the action? Call Fantastic Forum on Skype and join the fun. Too shy to call in? That's okay. You can join the Discord chat room available at
fantasticforum.live.
Join the party. You know you want to.
But yeah, you can always get that information at Fantastic Forum Live. You can also just come into our comment section right here, like Oscar Bermejo in chat, in YouTube chat, says, "What part of Silent Assassin do you not get?"
That's very funny, Oz.
Yeah, and then Tired Claw, who says, "What's up, Fantastic Forum? What are your thoughts on episode 7 of What If with Party Thor?" I haven't watched What If. I'm still like on the second. I only watched 2 episodes. They can't put this shit on Wednesdays.
There are other days after Wednesday for you to watch, Moses.
But Friday are the stuff that I watch. That's the day I watch stuff, and Wednesday is the day that I watch stuff for the show.
Right, but you can't watch What If on your own on Friday. You should. It's good. You'll like
it. There's other stuff I have to watch.
Gotcha. Watch it on Sunday. It's short.
We need a TV separate show so I can make an excuse for watching all this shit I'm watching. TV is crazy.
Yeah, we should. Listen, it's crazy because it's like, like you mentioned, we're doing Why the Last Man, right? And then What If's coming out every week. Then does it the Star Wars Visions joint drops what, Friday?
No.
It does? Oh, is it next week?
Joe, you're a little low too, man.
No, it's not next week. It's already out.
Star Wars Visions, is that already?
Yes.
Oh, when did that happen?
I don't know. I saw the banner when I went to go watch What If.
Are you sure it wasn't like a banner saying coming Friday?
No, I checked it. It had episodes.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, look, see,
Wow.
we're already behind because there's all this shit we gotta watch.
Yeah, man.
What
It's
if
a lot. Say what?
What If was perfect? This,
Really? This last episode was perfect?
yes.
Spoilers.
That's okay, Mike. You don't think so.
I already got scolded by Third Hand for spoiling the show. Somebody's like, "Can you tell Moses to stop with the spoilers?" This a friend of a friend or friend of a listener. It's like you can't be fucking with these spoilers if you guys.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, you know, and then there's a little stuff that we can talk about before. I mean, we get into this. It's those of you who have been with us on Fantastic Forum know Harley, my dog, and last Wednesday she passed away. And so I'm gonna do a little obituary because Larry pointed out to me that she's like the closest thing we had to a mascot.
Mhm.
I found her on a Thursday after doing the show at Larry's house, and she was outside my brother's car, and I kept her. And then I took her to her house. Joe, if you could just play that video I'm sharing right there while it plays under me, and put it up in the little video montage tribute to Harley. But she was a puppy when I found her. She had to have been like a couple weeks old, and I remember Larry. She shit on your hallway, and it's during the show, and then you're like, "Oh, Harley shit," and then you look at her, she looks embarrassed, and you didn't want her to feel that, so you just get right to her. And I thank you for that, Larry. And then on top of that, I took her everywhere. She was the closest thing I had to a child, and got me to literally settle the fuck down, and kind of become an adult. And that's her, man. She went away peacefully, guarding the front door. She was guarding from people walking by, and yeah, she died doing what she was best, which was protecting the house. And well, Harley, R.I.P. But yeah, man.
Man.
All
I'm
right.
a Miss Harley.
Yeah. She played with Boston with the Cats.
Yep.
Yeah, it's we used to, yeah, man. This big hazy wolf in honor of Harley. I don't know. It's a lot quieter here now.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
It's messed up.
Yeah.
Dude, the music was too loud, unfortunately, bro.
Yeah.
So people couldn't hear what you were saying.
Yeah, basically, I mean, I found her one day doing the show with you guys. Yeah, from one day to the next. I showed up the next day. I remember like the second day I got her, I had her tied up outside, and she just ran away. And I'm like, and then we like, where's Harley? I remember Oz was like, where's Harley? And then she just came running from a block away, as soon as the show was over. I don't know how long she got loose. When I first got her, she shit in your hallway, Larry, and you were so great. You're so gracious to not embarrass her that you took a shit right next to her to not make her feel.
That's funny.
And I thank you for that.
You're welcome, Mo. You're welcome.
But yeah,
Yeah.
she really helped me grow up and kind of want to have a home life to go to in addition to meeting Emily. It's all just one success after another. You know, we when I had I'd been dating Emily for about a year when we found her, and that became our dog. And then that's it. That's any decision I make. I'm gonna break up my home. It made me think twice, maybe worry about consequences more. And yeah, who knows what it'd be. What if I let Harley go? you know, Watu's probably like, but
Right. Right.
R.I.P. Harley.
Indeed. Indeed. That was a great video, though. Nice little montage.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Man, okay.
What do you guys want to start with, Squid Game or Why the Last Man?
I would say let's start with Squid Game.
Squid Game, all right. Is that based on a comic, so I can play the music or no?
No, it's not.
Okay.
It's based on a
So
manga. I'm joking.
it's not manga because it's Korean.
Mm,
Right. And
you're right.
they're manga.
Dang. What'd you say, Jay?
In Korea, they're manhwa.
Are you messing with me right now, or is that a real thing?
No, I know the Korean word for comic book. It's manhwa.
Manhwa?
Yeah,
Oh wow. Why do you know that?
I read a lot of comics.
I was like, I was waiting for Jay to be like, I know the word for comic in 200 languages.
That I don't, but Korean's something I come across like fairly often.
Is it because of the barbecue?
No, I love the
Mm,
barbecue though,
yeah,
and I
Korean
love horror
barbecues.
movies. They make good horror movies.
Mm,
Yeah.
I don't mess with that.
The thing is, even if it's like they're I don't know what it is about that culture. I don't know enough about Korean culture, but even stuff that isn't horror movies has that like they really do a ambiance to their things, a tone. So even if it's just a crime drama, it has like eeriness to it. Like the shadows are you're afraid to look at what's in the darkness in the alley. You know what I mean? They I don't know what it is about that culture that does certain cultures, certain nations or countries do things differently when it comes to that. Like that's the thing they like. We were having a discussion a couple weeks back with anime how they decided to do the big eyes, but they did it. It's not the same big eyes as Disney, even though they were influenced by it. But that's just
Mm-hmm.
gravitated to it, and everything had it more or less, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's just what they held on to. It's weird to see that.
Indeed.
But yeah, so yeah, Squid Game, man. Joe, why don't you tell us what Squid Game's about?
So Squid Game is about a down on his luck guy playing children's games in order to earn money. And he's joined by a bunch of other people because it's a contest. They invite like I think 456 people to come and play children's games with the chance of earning money. And uh, at some point during their first game, they find out the penalty for losing is death, and it makes a lot of them like kind of change their mind. Oh, Tiger Claw says we can barely hear Jay.
Yeah, you're really low, man. Is your knob turned up?
Jay, turn your knob.
My knobs are all the my knobs are all the way up.
Oh, see? Instant improvement. No, no. Instant improvement. We don't know what it was you turned that wasn't up before, but it's much better now.
All right. Do I need to start over?
Might as well.
Okay. So Squid Game is about a down on his luck guy playing children's game for money, and he's joined by uh, 455 other people, and they're taken to this island. They start playing red light, green light, and the people that lose are killed. And so everyone kind of has a change of heart, like they don't want to play anymore. And they, the people that brought them there, let them go. And then everyone realizes that their life actually sucks and it might be worth it to try and win money. Like 83% of the people that left decide to come back and try again. Odds in chat says it's a baby soundboard, guys. It needs time to grow.
Look, they're saying you're still a little bit low, Jay. So you might want to just turn yourself up a little bit more if you can.
Well, also that microphone, that whole part needs to be right pointed at him. Damn, Larry, what you got, the corona?
No,
all the way.
No, your microphone it's pointed. You got to point it directly in front, straight at you.
How's that?
It's a little more direct, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Where was I? All right, 83% decide to go back, and play these children's games for the chance of winning like a fuck ton of money. So,
yeah,
that's basically what it's about.
Mm-hmm.
But there's consequences to losing, right?
Yeah, I said they died.
Oh, okay.
Maybe I was too bad. I'll say it again. If they lose the game, they die. They start off playing red light, green light, and the first guy to lose gets shot. But it's from an angle where they're not really sure what happened. And then once the people notice that he's dead, they start moving, which causes them to get shot. And then a whole crowd of people runs for the exit, and then they all get shot. And then people figure out like it might be best to try and win this game of
red light, green light.
Number one,
what?
Contestant number one is old man with the tumor, and he gets into it first. Like he's like the first one to really start going for it. Like he's totally excited about like this game, and everyone else is kind of like they just want to live. So yeah, like that's basically what it is.
Like I will say from personal experience, having played red light, green light as a child, that's a hell of a first game to start off with. Like I don't know what the next games that are coming up are, and I'm cool with not knowing until I watch them. But
did you watch the second episode?
I did.
Oh,
I was actually going to warn you about that one. That one made me jump like twice.
The second episode?
Yeah. Like there was this one part that made me jump, and then I watched it again, and it made me jump again.
What? Well, I don't want to ruin it for other people, but what part made you jump? Or I don't know what part.
There's a fight between an Indian and a Korean guy. And
got you. I got you.
At one point, the Indian gets the upper hand.
Right.
The upper hand.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, it just made me jump, and I had to like watch it again to like see exactly how that happened, and it made me jump.
Yeah.
It was just, man.
Yeah. Yeah. I will say that playing red light, green light for your life, that's hardcore.
Right.
Like for your life, I'm like, dude, because I'm just like, especially like the way that they do it and how it is they judge whether you move or not. I was just like,
but even like the aesthetic, like the little environment they create for you to play that game in is creepy in of itself. It adds pressure, even though it's like, and that's on Koreans. It's a beautiful looking visage. I don't know if I'm using that properly. But it's a facade of the sky and open plain air, but it's really just four walls that look backdrop, and you're trapped in there. And then all like they're really doing like it's like a comic book supervillain, like the Toy Man did this shit, and that adds a whole level of creepiness. Like even like the first half of this episode, I was like, okay, standard Korean drama fare, but then in the trailer I saw the scene when they're all doing the stair walking, and that looked cool, and then none of that was happening, so I'm like, fuck. So that's when I did the montage for Harley, and then it got into the game. It got into the game, and it's like, wow, like that look, just the look on the doll and everything. I was like, man, that's where they took extra good load of this episode. That adds that the way that it looked just added to the tension, even though it was like a juxtaposition of that look with the blood. And the blood actually matched the scene pretty well in color theory.
Yeah.
And the thing too is you can play red light, green light ultra conservatively and get across the line.
Right.
They give you a 5-minute time limit.
Right.
And it's like, well, no, I got to do this fast. And that's when you fuck up.
Yeah, it's crazy because I feel like the distance they had to cover, technically, people could walk and it probably would have been fine. Because it's not like it's that much distance, but but I'm not saying like, oh, they should have walked, because I know that if I was in that situation, I don't know that I would have walked. It's like, because the situation itself puts you in a heightened state and you don't make good decisions. Like the good decision is literally just walk to that line, take your time. You got 5 whole minutes, in much in the same way, like how when people start panicking and you start getting that mass extinction, it's like they done told you the rules. Like everybody knew the rules already. So it's not like, and they understood obviously that the consequence is death, and that's why they panicked. So it's like they know all the rules, they know what happens if they don't follow the rules, and yet the decision they made was to scatter. It's like,
technically they did pop that rule on them. Like they didn't tell them they were going to be killed.
Well, but they didn't tell them that at first.
Right.
But the thing that made you decide, oh, I need to get the hell out of here is the realization.
Right.
But not only that, when you see the guards in those weird outfits with the masks and a doll, you're like, you know what? I'm either getting butt fucked or killed here.
For real. Like the pink is very aggressive.
Yeah.
The pink is very aggressive. I don't know. I don't know that I've ever been more afraid of a friggin' random individual in pink.
That's the color my butthole's gonna look when they turn it inside out. Yeah, I did that one for you, Larry.
So, one of the things that I really enjoy about this is that you do have a lot of people that came back, like, after knowing the rules. Like, that to me is interesting. Because you got to think, it's like, they're children's games. Like, you can win children's games. But they know they fail if they're going to, they know that if they fail, they're going to die. But they risk it anyway. And then they have that confidence until they lose. And the realization hits them again, like, oh, yeah, we die when we fuck up.
Yeah. Now let me ask a question here. The joint is called the Squid Game, right?
Yes.
and I had no idea what this was going into it. Even though after the fact, I feel like, oh, Joe probably told me about this. I'm pretty sure he might have mentioned it or something. I don't know.
I just found out about it
Oh, okay. So maybe not then.
a few days ago.
Look, okay. Well, listen, they're out here making stuff for you, Jay. Because I was like, I feel like Jay's like preferred genre of anything is battle royale.
Yeah.
Like,
it is.
so it's just like they're out here like, oh, you know what? Like all of a sudden, every video game is a battle royale, or if it's not, it has a battle royale mode attached to it. You know, all of a sudden, all the movies are battle royale movies, and it's just like, wait, what? Like, I'm not mad at it because it's an interesting kind of thing, but I'm just like, how many times can you all put 100 people into something and have them face off? You know what I'm saying? Like, after they did it with Tetris, I was like, well, this must be the peak battle royale, and then they did it with Pac-Man, and I'm like, oh, I was wrong. I was wrong. But but anyway, my whole thing was this joint is called the Squid Game, and it opens with like the I guess what you might call the lead character recounting a game that he and his friends would play when they were young. And I understand that this is like a Korean film, and this could potentially be a game that they played in Korea. I don't know. But my whole thing is this game is like complex for a kid's game, right? Am I tripping? In the sense, like, I'm listening to this fool and his like set of rules, and I'm just like, wait, what happens? Wait, what? Wait, 1 foot, then 2 feet, but then I can cross the plane of the squid, and then I can use both feet, but then I have to like attack the head of the. I'm like, wait, what's happening? Like, I'm like, this feels like a full-on like strategy game. Like, who are the kids that made this up? Korean kids.
It's like Final Fantasy Tactics, but like
Right.
it was Enchanted Arms. Yeah,
Right.
it's like no RPG.
Right. Leveling system. You got to make sure you have the right gear. All that. I was like, I mean, and don't get me wrong. It's like the game is probably not as complex as it seems at first blush. But I'm just like, I mean, in America, it feels like when you talk about red light, green light, the rules are simple, right? When I say green light, you run, and when I say red light, you stop. And if I see you move, you're out. Done. I'm just like Squid Game. That's like phase 1 of 4. And I'm just like, wait, so little kids in Korea are out here with like multi-phase games, they're like, oh well, the game changes if they're like 6 players versus 8. Like, wait, what? Like, what's happening? Like, this, and then on top of all that, apparently, you got to draw the board in the dirt, like a full-on like squid. Like, they're like, well, obviously the people inside the squid court that we drew on the dirt can move differently than the people outside the squid court. And I was like, wait, what? Like, who teaches you how to draw the squid? Where does that come from? I'm just like, man, this is like, yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot for a kid's game, and it feels like he tries to make it simple. And I don't know, it might just be something in the translation. I don't know. But I was just like, this does not feel like any kinds of kids. I feel like if you were trying to explain this game to American adults, we would mess it up. No, it's true. We would mess it up.
There'd be
I know that for a fact.
Well, there'd be participation trophies for that in America.
You made it to the middle of the squid.
You had fun. That's all that matters.
Right.
But I died, but you had fun doing it.
Oh, man.
I zoned out at those rules. Like, to be honest, like it's. I get they have to explain the title of the series to me, and like you said, it felt like a translation thing. Like listening to the voice actors, and then seeing the people talking, there was a little bit of a disconnect. I can imagine that was kind of how how Joe felt watching Dark. It's not a problem for me, but I like when I feel that there is something lost in the translation. Like there's something I'm missing, I'm sure, but they know I'm a dumb American, and they're like, I'm just gonna like it either way or not like it. Like that's what they're counting on. But it makes me wish I knew Korean. But overall, like the execution of the episode, aside from that,
Yeah, that's the only part where I'd be like, maybe we should have called this a different thing.
Well, maybe that might be. Is that going to be the final game of these death games?
It's gonna be so wild. If that's
It has to be, right? Because that's the title of the thing. Yeah. Somebody asked me if this show was Japanese, and I said no. In Japan, Squid Game means something different. That's the end.
So there's another thing I really like about this, and that's the way the story is told. Very few, like a lot of times you'll jump into the games and then they'll do flashbacks.
Mm-hmm.
This is told like way more straightforward.
Mm-hmm.
You get the little narration at the beginning, and then from there it's just going forward.
Yeah.
And that's another cool thing about them letting everyone go, is that we can watch all these people and see their struggle in real time instead of in flashback.
Yeah.
That makes it a little. It was just refreshing to watch that way.
I agree 100%.
Yeah, so like they give us like a lot of info, but they give us in like an order, and that was refreshing to me. And yeah, it persists throughout, which is awesome.
And it's wild because when you get to the point where they're like, oh, they might let these people go, it feels like any other movie or any other series, it would have been a thing where there's always that one guy that's like, nah, we all stay. And everybody's like, they got to deal with that. And that's, what happens. And that's how they create the conflict in the scenario. But when you actually do let the people go, it's like, oh, geez, like, this is really interesting.
Right.
Yeah.
And they actually do reference like when they like have the people come back, when the people choose to come back, it's like 83%. Like the one guy is talking to the boss, and he's like, okay, just 83% came back, just keep an eye on the other percent that didn't. And I assume that's to like make sure they're not going to the cops or anything. But it is just still interesting. Another interesting key, like they did think to like keep an eye on, because what they're doing is incredibly illegal. You would want to keep an eye on the people that didn't come back.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like a loose plot thread. Like they took care of it. Like I feel like that's something that people would easily forget. Like this kind of story,
right?
Either they would forget or they would have 100% come back, which again would be unrealistic. But yeah, they just, with the one simple line, or technically two lines, they're like, they covered their base.
Right. Indeed. Yeah. So Mo, how did you feel about the dub of it?
The dub was okay. I prefer that usually. I don't want to read.
Okay.
That's
fair.
With this one, I think I could have gotten away with reading though, because as interesting as the environment looked when the killing was happening and then playing the running, it's really more about the build up to that in the first episode. So I think reading it would have been okay. The dub was adequate. I'm not as it doesn't bother me as much, except when, like certain like expressions come on and it's like That's not how we say that here. Really it's like when I tell you my mother's like Elvira-isms, and I tell them to you in English, and they're like, you're like, wait, and then I
Yeah.
say Spanish, and then I give you the equivalent in English. It makes sense, So
Right.
you need that type of translation for the colloquialisms. I don't know what colloquialism means, but yeah, I think it works. Right? Can I use that there?
I mean, sure. We're gonna go with sure.
Did I say it wrong or what?
A little bit, but it's okay.
How you say it?
Colloquialism
Colloq-
or like colloquially.
colloq-
Don't worry about it.
colloq-
No. Like,
Wait, how did I say it?
I don't know.
I said
like that.
colloquialism.
Sure.
That's what you said. Colloquialism.
No.
That's the title of this episode. Colloquialism.
Anyway, all right. But yeah, man. I mean, so Jay, have you watched this whole series already?
Yeah.
Of course you have. How many episodes is it?
9.
Okay. And
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm not sure how you guys were able to stop watching.
I literally had to do the show.
Yeah. I had to watch the 3rd episode of Why the Last Man.
See, they're like I got to all of it late, so
Yeah.
I watched 2 episodes of Squid Game, and then I watched an episode of Why the Last Man. And so, yeah, that's what I had time for. So, but it's not like, but I will tell you, like, if I didn't have to watch, like, I wanted to watch the next episode of Squid Game, but I'm like, well, I can't not watch Why. I got to watch Why. And then when I got to the end of episode 1 of Why, I was like, I really would like to watch the next episode of Why the Last Man, but
you only saw one?
I only saw one. That's it.
All right. Well, I only watched one of
I know. I know exactly. And look, and it is what it is. Where I'm just like, well, I would like.
Emily and I were celebrating the anniversary the first time we had sushi.
Together, or you mean like period?
Yeah, together. Yeah, we went to eat sushi to celebrate the first time we had sushi.
Together, or period?
No, together.
Okay, together. Right, because I remember. I was like, I'm pretty sure you were eating sushi before you met Emily.
Yeah.
As far as I don't remember. Like, I'm like, damn. I'm like, no. Like before you had already eaten sushi by the time I had met you.
Oh yeah. I tried sushi for the first time when I was 8, and I've been.
Oh, there you go.
Then I realized that in another life I was a Japanese sumo wrestler.
Makes sense. Yeah, but because some people don't mess with sushi till late in life.
Yeah, they're stupid.
I wasn't trying to say that, but you're not wrong. Anyway, all right. So Jay, you finished it. Mo, you only got to watch one episode of Squid Game, you said, right? Yeah. So I watched 2, and to know that there's like friggin' 7 more. It's like, that's cool. I will ask you this, Jay. Is this like the type of thing where should I be expecting a conclusion and that's it? Or should I be looking for like a second season of this or something?
They did set up a second season.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, indeed.
Oh, real quick.
Mhm.
Core says, watched episode 1, interesting. Still feeling out the concept of the series idea, though, but I think I'm close. Sorry, Star Trek Visions.
Damn, Star Trek Visions, huh? Damn, that's what we're doing, Xenocore? Look, even though I haven't even watched Star Wars Visions yet, but I think I want Star Trek Visions. I'm like, now he's wet my palate. I'm like, God damn it! How come we not doing Star Trek Visions? This is some bull. What happened to What happened to equality?
And they're both called Visions, huh?
But I'll take the joke.
What'd he say?
Honest typo, but I'll take the joke.
That's not a typo.
It kind of is.
It's no. A typo is like when I was trying to type the right thing and I hit a wrong key. He typed the completely wrong thing. Like that's a mistake. Like what are you talking about? Like
He
there's
technically
no way.
he created a new series.
I know, right? Exactly. You look. If you were like saying like Starware Visions, that's a typo. If you can't type Wars and accidentally type Trek,
Like
that's
you
not how keyboards work.
yeah, if you say Star Wads, like
Right,
autocorrect Star Wads.
right, right. Oh man.
So what are
Ah,
we rating this thing? 5 out of 5 or across the board?
I don't know. You tell. What do you think, Mo?
I'll give it a 4. I as far as this one episode goes,
Hmm.
I wasn't enthused with the beginning. It seemed a little standard fare, but I'll give it another shot. Just based on how the second half of the episode turned out, and I am intrigued by what's coming up. So yeah, I think it's one of those things I can't even watch alone at this point. I think Emily wants to keep watching it, so we have to.
There it is. What about you, Jay?
I'm gonna give it a 5. Like, I love it. I love the way the story's told. I like the characters and the character moments. I like this organization. Like, they're an interesting organization, honestly. When you get into like how they work and why they work, and there's just a bunch of stuff that I would say a bunch more, but I know you guys haven't seen it. Like,
Thank you.
your knowledge, so
And now we can't do spoilers ever again.
yeah, I'm gonna give it a 5. It's like it's rare that a show comes along and does exactly what you want it to do, exactly the way you want it to be done. And I feel like Squid Game kind of did that for me.
Oh, there you go. Because Joe gets whatever he wants. I'm gonna give it a 5 too. Like, I think honestly the premise is really interesting, and then the fact that it has like it does what other stories would normally do, but then takes like a completely different direction. Like that sealed the deal for me. Because in my mind, I was like, oh, I know what's about to happen, and then it didn't. It went the opposite direction, and I'm like, oh. And but then we're still gonna get a version of the story that we wanted to see, but just in a different context now because people have a lot more autonomy in regards to what they're doing. So that's amazing to me, and I can't wait to watch the rest of the series. But after that, look, I guess the 2 episodes for me were enough for me to feel like confident in my 5 because I'm like, it's not gonna get worse, like it could get better, but it's not. I have the utmost confidence it's not gonna get worse, and so yeah, I'm gonna give it a 5.
Always Find 1775 says, "Don't you guys think they just took other part of movies and put it all together?"
Yeah,
I haven't seen enough of these movies.
I mean, I feel like it definitely puts together other parts of other movies, but this is like the difference in regards to execution. Like, you could take the premise of another movie and executed so much better than the ones that came before it that it elevates it, you know?
Or
And I just feel like
you could do it much worse, and you get Why the Last Man, but we'll get to that in a little bit.
Also, it's kind of like the little things. It's like the minor things that change. Like this all, and I might be speaking incorrectly, but this all pretty much stems from Battle Royale, a book where they took a bunch of high school kids and they put them on an island and they gave everyone a weapon and said the last one standing lives. And you get a lot of things coming after that with that same format, but the difference is in the games, it's in the characters, it's in like it's really just the little things that make each of these worth watching and worth seeing what they do well and what they don't do well. Um, I would bring up something about why, but we'll take that later because it does a lot of things unwell. But yeah, like it's. I mean, it is pretty much just like that. You have Battle Royale. You had The Condemned with Steve Austin. Same thing. That one was a little sloppy, but okay.
Was it the Predator one with the prisoners? Was that kind of like that?
Predator one with the prisoners?
With Adam
That's-
Brody?
yes, that's Predators, right?
Yes, Predators. That was like that too. But yeah, the difference was, you had a bunch of like they're all killers. Death Race also similar thing, except their execution in some of the later movies is not good. Like they get into a lot of theory or they get into a lot of things where they kind of contradict themselves. And again, this is why I like watching all these movies, seeing the ones that do work, seeing the ones that don't, seeing like all the differences. Um, Also, the entire Purge series, pretty much this concept. But they get, I don't want to say they get progressively worse, but they definitely have a part of them that does not get better.
I always find 1775 says, to me, it feels like they took other people's intellectual property. And yes and no. It's like, let's say Chuck Berry invented rock and roll. The Rolling Stones play rock and roll. The Beatles play rock and roll. Deep Purple plays rock and roll. The Yardbirds and all that. It becomes a genre at this point. It's nobody has the trademark on was it the battle royale style
And the concept.
story concepts. It becomes a genre in and of itself, like romance novels or horror movies. It just becomes like the first horror movie. It's like, okay, every horror movie just ripped off what was it, The Man That Laughs or whatever, the first horror movie in the 20s.
Is the first horror movie called The Man Who Laughs?
I think so. That's what they based the Joker on too. Like the guy was a Joker guy, a guy that surgically a smiling face. And when you look at that actual like smiling man, it's actually kind of jarring if you look at it at a context colloquially. But it's I don't know if that's the first horror movie, but it might have been like Nosferatu or one of those. But yeah, it just becomes this battle royale just becomes a genre. Like we get it in comics too, where we had like that Avengers Arena. Yeah,
Right, absolutely.
and that one proves that it's about execution, because you have the genre, then you have what's happening in Marvel at the time and putting these characters in there, but it's not the characters that it's not like what is it, Secret Wars,
Right.
original Secret Wars. It's like these lower tier characters with different personalities and different moral boundaries.
Yeah, that made you love those kids.
Yeah. So it kind of ends up working.
I agree.
Oscar Vermejo says Chuck
Why
Berry
you-
Chuck Berry didn't invent nothing. It was Marty McFly. Yeah.
And I've actually
Whatever.
used that pretty much that same thing using video games, talking about platformers. It's
Mm.
like, running, jumping platforms. Like at a certain point, it's just a genre. Like
Yeah.
own jumping on platforms.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
do they?
I look, whoever ends up doing that, like if somebody could like trademark battle royale style stories, like that's a smart person, and or trademarking horror or even superheroes. Like you can make any type of story. Like, and at this point, the best superhero stories are the ones that take the intellectual property and make it themselves. I mean, we have your irredeemable, your invincibles, and they take these
Right.
archetypes and then just deconstruct them. And
Mhm.
and the medium is better for it.
Indeed.
You get your Watchmen, you get your you get all
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, it's true.
Core says all stories have been told before. We will listen to them again and again, which is why superhero fatigue is a myth. If the story is good, they will come to see it anyway.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
true.
Yeah,
100% true.
it's one of those things where back in the radio days, I know Larry, you're a radio professional. The tagline when you were working in radio was a bigger variety and a better mix. But it was like the same 16 songs. Like every time you play something new, it would polarize the audience and you would lose ratings. So it's
Right.
like people generally want the same thing. People don't like change. They don't
Right.
because change comes with work. You have to adapt your sensibilities to enjoy it or hate it. And you don't like these feelings. You like comfort in monotony.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good name for a band, Comfort in Monotony.
Good name for a mediocre band.
Or an awesome band.
Wow.
Or an awesome band that you didn't even know was that awesome because you judged them on their name. That's actually the name of my ukulele band with Jay that you can only get on Patreon.
Comfort in mediocrity.
Yeah,
Wait.
Comfort in Mediocrity.
Look. Oh, monotony. Look, low key.
Get it right.
Comfort in monotony does sound like a band that Joe would be a part of. Like that.
It's our ukulele death metal band. It's ukulele.
Oh, dude. Now I need to hear that for real. Like I need the two of you to start learning
on Patreon. $500.
There it is.
Patreon. You get the album at the end of the year.
I need you all to start learning how to use ukuleles post haste.
Look, I already know, and Joe knows.
I'm working.
Like to me, the ukulele is a tiny bass.
It is a
tiny
bass.
Tiny bass.
Yeah. Have like your dexterity.
Yeah. I have the little tiny hands, so it works for me.
Right.
It's like I got mad when they were insulting Trump about tiny hands. I'm like, what the fuck's wrong with tiny hands?
Oh, it's too funny.
Yeah.
All right. Should we go on to Why the Last Man?
If we must.
If we must. Let's do it. Mo, you gonna play some theme music?
Comic book theater.
Moses, tell us about Why the Last Man, man.
It is a derivation of a comic book, a Vertigo comic book by Brian K. Vaughan and Pia Guerra. It's been in limbo for like 10 years. They've been trying to get this thing. It was supposed to be a movie. It was supposed to be an HBO series. It was supposed to be a Fox series. It was supposed to be an FX series. And eventually it found its home at FX on Hulu. And then you get what you have here. They released the first 3 episodes last week. And I think the new one came out today. Um, and it basically tells a story of a world where a virus uh, comes about, uh, where it only affects people with the Y chromosome, and they just die, except for this dude Yorick and Ampersand, a man and his monkey. Leave it to the last man in the world to just play with. Yeah. And the story is about him traveling this wasteland. It kind of reminds me of that movie, The Boy and His Dog, where he's like just trying to survive, and he has to be in hiding because the world isn't kind. You would think when the comic book first came out, I'm like, oh, this is gonna be stupid. It's gonna be like it's gonna be utopia because men aren't around. It's gonna be some feminist thesis or something, for the genocide of males, in comic book form. And it turned out to not be that. It was actually really well done, and it just showed how like the people just split into factions that just hate each other, even if it's just one gender. Yeah. And it did a really good job in like the first 12 issues of establishing that. And look, I'm over here diverging into a comic book review because
right.
that's really what you should be reading. This show is not about Yorick and his monkey. It's about his mom and his sister, and then the other females on the planet. And he just like collateral that they're just like using to. Some people see him as like a barter. Other people see him as he needs to be hidden or researched. And but the story, like the first 2 episodes, didn't have him as much as he should have been in terms of Why the Last Man adaptation. Now I know Derek H is gonna be like, take a break from washing his pussy and tell me like, it doesn't have to be like the comic. It doesn't have to be like the comic, and I agree, it doesn't. But the way that it's not like the comic is actually a lazy way of doing this. It's a logistical practicality to make the story not about him, and have like him reunite with his mom in the first or second episode. Like that's easy. And whereas in the comic it's like it's him journeying through this wasteland as like a prize thing that some people are going to want to exploit to breed, some people are going to want to exploit for science, other people want to use them to trade. And it's like his adventure is coming into these different situations with these people trying to fuck with him or use him because he's the last dude. And the first 12 issues, I want to say maybe the first 20 is that like at one point he's just pretends to be a woman pretending to be a man in a Shakespeare play. And I'm like, by the 3rd episode of this show I was like, wow, right now he should be doing Shakespeare pretending to be a woman pretending to be a man, and that would have been awesome. And it's not that. He's in a pile of dead bodies in the White House. And it's like, yeah, whatever. But what did you guys think?
I think I should have watched more than one episode.
I only watched 2 episodes. I don't have Hulu, and so I was using your account, Mo.
No, you're using our press account.
Right, I was using a press account, and I didn't want to get ahead of everyone else on the press account, so I stuck to the first 2, and it was honestly not as exciting as the comic, which I didn't really get into either. But I feel like the comic, it was more just Yorick kind of sucked, and so that was annoying, like not as fun to read. In this one, it was just kind of boring, but kind of annoying too. Like we talked about, first off, we talked about Squid Game, how they did everything in order. This doesn't do that. This starts like 3 weeks into the crisis, and it shows like what 30 seconds of that, just to go 3 weeks before the crisis, and it's just all over the fucking place. Like, pick the goddamn lane, and then you get to like you keep watching. And then each episode will have like take place in like 2 or 3 different days, and it doesn't really leave any kind of impact. And I kind of like the rats. Like there's one scene with rats,
Yeah.
but I don't. It's and I got to admit, like the last 20 minutes of episode 2, I kind of spaced out and was like just on my phone
Damn.
thinking about taking a nap.
You were making another montage for Harley.
So you know, I would have done it differently. Like if we're gonna be skipping days so much, I would have made each episode a different day.
Yeah.
So at least
Mm,
it would be
that's
kind of
interesting.
like you're watching. It would feel more like you're watching different points in time for the
Yeah.
story. Like the way they do it, it just feels like I don't want to say random, but it feels like they don't really have a story to tell, so they're just moving to different. Well, yeah, I don't know how to verbalize it, but I did not like it.
Just say colloquially.
Yes, very colloquially. And
You should not say that.
yeah, it wasn't doing anything for me, and there was not a lot of Yorick, which honestly was kind of a good thing to me, just because I didn't like him in the book.
Wow.
I will say the one spot, the show, the one place where the show and the comic are consistent is that the one girl Sarah is my favorite character. Like,
Yeah.
I love when she's on screen. When she went up and talked to the new president, I was like, I woke up for a minute. The scene ended, and then I was like, okay. But,
I haven't even seen that yet. That must be episode 2.
right.
And that's a big thing because Joe usually doesn't like black people.
It's true. It's true.
It's crazy. I've been coming across all these super talented black people, and it's just amazing.
I hate him so much right now.
I love him. I just
I
set
hate
him
him
up
so much for that.
Mark. Like,
This fool said it's crazy. All these super talented black people all of a sudden.
But I
I
mean,
hate it.
go watch Cop Shop if you get the chance. Cop Shop in theaters. The chick in that, amazing. Like love her. But yeah, not feeling Why the Last Man. Oh, and that part in episode 1 where they zoom out to the street and the street has like looks like a Y.
yeah.
I can't imagine a street being like that.
Well, it's weird because there are streets like that in New
Mm,
York, and there's one
yeah.
in the city, that's actually like a replica of the New York block, but that's
Yeah.
actually like the cover of one of the comics, and it's
Yeah.
like that scene where he's on the car with the mask, like that's a scene that's like a cover of like issue 6, and it's like they've seen the comic clearly, and the show is what it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
weird thing when I was watching the scene, I'm like, I know that a street like this does exist. Like
Yeah.
I've never seen it, but I know it exists. But watching it in the show makes me feel like it doesn't,
Yeah.
even though I know it probably does.
You know what they probably did is probably like computer generated it, and it wasn't an actual aerial shot of the actual street, so it looks more like a Y instead. Because I think to get that Y shape at that close of a range probably is an impossibility. You'd have to be higher up it to get the New York one, you know. And so it was probably computer generated, and that probably set off a trigger in your brain where it's like, this don't look right.
Right.
Yeah. And which goes back to what I'm saying, like it's a lazy way of bringing Why the Last Man to the screen.
And yeah, they didn't get to the Amazons yet.
Yeah, dude, there's a lot they missed. Like the excitement was when he runs into his sister, like in the comic. It's like, oh, that's my sister. Oh shit. And then she's a fucking Amazon running with these lesbian Amazons and shit. And they chop off one of their titties and it's a whole thing into the mythos. It's world building. I know, Larry, you probably taken world building lessons from the masters at this point. So, and that's like you just see a bunch of chicks that call themselves Amazons and only have one breast. And it's like they're like essentially a female biker gang, and people have to just line themselves because they're a force to be reckoned with in that part of the city or of the country at that point. And it's like in 2-3 panels, they tell you everything they're about, like why that one breast is missing, why and then it goes back and shows you how the sister got to it,
Mm-hmm.
And the show, it's just they're giving you everything about the sister except any of that cool shit.
Wait, so is the sister named Hero in the comic?
Yeah.
Damn, I don't remember that at all.
Yeah,
because I remember I was watching the show like Hero. I'm like, is that what she was called in the comic? Because if like it's interesting. I will say this. I definitely enjoyed the show much more than both of you did.
Yeah, because it's like the West Wing, but with like maxi pads.
It's not how I would have described it at all, but okay. Like, I mean, honestly, it's just one of these things where, for me, it like you all know the comic. I'm always like, why don't they just make the shows more like the comic books?
Yeah.
And I felt this way or that way about this show as well, because just watching the one episode, I'm just like, yeah, like there's a lot. Like even in just this moment, there are like little things where I'm like, it felt like this could have been more like the comic. But at the same time, I'm just like, hey, I understand at this point, like the Walking Dead changed me, right? Like the Walking Dead TV show, where it's like it made me understand that technically you can make a decent television show that doesn't follow the comic exactly, but at the same time, it might have the spirit of it. And I don't know if I would necessarily be like, oh well, the Y TV show necessarily has the spirit of the comic, because I only got to watch one episode once again, so I'm on the fence about it. But it's an entertaining show, or at least it was entertaining to me. That's what I'll say. And I'm just like, I would watch the next episode easy. Like there's no question for me that I'm like, do I want to see what happens next? But yeah, no, I do want to see what happens next. But there was definitely like a lot of things in there that made me feel like, well, why are we doing all of this? And part of that is because I read the comic, and it's interesting because Mo, off the top, do you know what year Why the Last Man came out?
It came out, I believe, in I want to say 1999 or 2000.
Okay, so obviously, when we're talking about comic books in the late 90s, early 2000s, right? Women being at the center of comics isn't as much of a thing, right? And so it is like you might just be getting the very, very beginning of that conversation on a mainstream comic book level, right? And so I could totally understand, especially if you're making a TV show about there only being one man on Earth, and that's it.
2002.
Okay, so
But he
early
wrote
2000.
it around 2001.
Okay, right. So if you're making a comic about, you know, essentially the
Right.
last man on Earth, right? It's like you can make like on one hand, it's like, yeah, like the story should follow that guy because that guy is super important because he's the last one on the whole planet, you know, right? So you get it as far as like the comic book story and the premise. At the same time, when you're talking about a show like that happening in, you know, the late 2010s, you know, in the early 2020s, you're like, you can understand why things would be different. And you're like, well, if there's a show about there only being one guy, you know, why wouldn't you feature women's perspectives? You know, because it's like
Yeah.
literally there's only one man, and all the perspective is from his perspective. So it's interesting.
I feel
Like,
if it would have been a different network, it probably would have, but it probably would have been equal, if not more like the comic. You know.
no, but when you say equal, you mean like half guy, half woman.
Right. Like, because the comic was kind of like that. You still got everybody's story. You just didn't get it at the front. You get it when they were
Well,
introduced in the comic, and then you get like 2 issues of just their story and then their story together going forward, you know? But it's also
no,
a comic structure thing. Like TV structure and
mhm,
comic structure is different. I get that.
right,
Yeah.
right. And also too, though, it's interesting though, because one of those things where there are people out there that are going to be like, why do you feel like it's equal in regards to the amount of attention that you're given when it's like it's literally an entire planet of women and one guy, and like half the story is about him and the other half is about all the rest of the women on the planet,
It's called Why the Last Man, not okay, men
all
are
them other bitches.
yeah. Not even that. It's not called okay, men no more. You know? It's called Why the Last Man. And why is Yorick? It's him. The story's about him traversing through this wasteland. You know, Mad Max isn't called the weird gas wars in the desert. You know, it's called Mad Max. Yeah. The Road Warrior is called the Road Warrior. It's you know, that's what it is. A Boy and His Dog is a movie about a boy and his dog, not about the ancillary people around it. You know, and this show is called it should be called Men No More. Adapted loosely based on Why the Last Man. You
And
know,
that's fair. That's
yeah.
fair. What do you say, Jay?
No, I was saying I kind of want to see that show,
Which one?
the Weird Desert Wars over gas.
Yeah, that's the first Road Warrior movie. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's Road Warrior. I want to see weird gas wars in the desert.
Well, they're all
See that
fighting
one.
for gas, right? Is that what?
No, yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah,
But I want one with that title.
yeah.
That sounds
Weird gas force. Yeah, and
But
I
then
guess that
you're gonna get like the West Wing, all the bureaucratic aspects of like the big destroyer guy. Well, you didn't file that paperwork with me, man. Yeah, so I have to kill you. Yeah,
yeah. But it's interesting though because a lot of people felt like that was the problem with the last Mad Max movie, right? Where it didn't focus on him enough.
yeah. It was Mad Max Fury Road. It should have just called Fury Road. It was still great, but if you
I
just
agree.
Fury Road, you got no problem. Yeah. Talk about silent protagonist, you know? Yeah.
and And it's one of those things where, like,
People had
it,
problems
with what?
with Mad Max Fury Road.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
There was a whole thing like, what did you say, Jay?
Those people suck. Like Mad Max
Well,
was awesome.
Yeah.
well, I mean, they basically were like, he wasn't the main character, so why did you call it that?
No, he was the main character.
A lot of people disagree.
A lot of wrong people.
I mean, I don't listen. I think the here's the thing. I think the criticism is valid, but I don't care. It's not like he was like a minor character. It in my mind is like in that movie, like they have home chick is what? Furiosa, is that her name?
Yeah.
You got Furiosa, you got Mad Max. And they're like co
Headline.
protagonists.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong though, like Mad Max does not drive the action, but Max doesn't necessarily drive the action in any of the other movies.
Right.
He's just featured more, despite not driving the action. And
Like
so it's like,
he just drops in on situations along travels. Yeah.
Right. And that's on brand for Max.
Yeah.
But in the past, they're like, well, even though he's not driving the story, we're going to follow him. And in this movie, they're like, well, we're going to follow him and her, and she's driving all the action, basically, and he's just along for the ride, which is exactly what happens in most of the other movies. It's just that we always look at it from his perspective. And so, I know for me, I was just like, well, I don't have a problem with that because all we're talking about is like a shift. It doesn't feel that much different. Like it doesn't feel out of character. But I could be wrong about that. Like that's my take. But saying all that, I kind of feel like that's a little bit of what happened here in Why the Last Man, the TV show. Because, well, why definitely, from what I remember, I'll say this because it's been a long time since I read those books. But from what I remember, it's like why gets swept up in a lot of stuff too. Now, I will say that I do think like episode 1 was really heavy on trying to make sure you see the perspective of a lot of the other women in the world. And I personally don't have a problem with that. But I could understand, like, if you're like, hey, I like the comic, it's like the comic book did not do that. And so, I probably need to watch a few more episodes before I can make a more definitive judgment in regards to like, is this like anything like the comic or not?
By the time, well, look, it's not like the comic. By the time you get to 3, like he's traversing the wasteland, like he's on his. That's his hero's journey, like that, like how Joe was kind of saying, like they took you back and then kind of time jumped and give you a bunch of shit, to where it should start. Like episode 3 seems like it's the starting point for Yorick's journey.
Okay,
but the thing is, that means that 3 episodes are unnecessary, essentially, if the show's called Last Man. And
you can start from that point.
Right. There's a scene with Yorick's sister where they just create drama where there doesn't need to be. Like she's fucking this guy and then she kills him. Spoiler.
Right.
I'm sorry, listener. I heard your plea. It's a spoiler.
He's doing it. He's doing it.
but it's not the spoiler for the series. So this is the third one. It's not even that big a point. It happens in like minute 17.
The spoiler would be what happens later.
Look, don't do it, Joe. See, you didn't brought up the action. You brought up the actual spoiler. No. Now you tempted mode to tempt fate.
I'm not saying what the spoiler is, but
wait, later how? Like another episode?
No. See what you did, Jay. This is what you did.
So
He
in the
got quiet. He
comic,
got all quiet.
The resolution of the cheating plot would be the spoiler.
I'm sorry, say that again, Joe. You're a little low.
Resolution of the cheating plot would be the spoiler.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, yeah. I'm not getting into that.
Thank
Nobody
you.
confesses to cheating. Nobody confronts the wife and widow.
Hey, relax.
Hey,
Relax.
I'm misdirecting the audience like Yorick would as a magician. Spoilers.
Was he a magician in the comic?
Yeah, he was like like a hobbyist like that. Yeah. That's the thing. A lot of these things do follow, like the casting. The casting is probably the best comic book casting ever. The guy doesn't look like Yorick per se.
No, he doesn't look like Yorick.
But he feels like Yorick. And Sarah, like 100%. That's it. Like, different. They got different looks, but they feel like these characters. Hero feels like that character. The mom feels like that. And that's what I hate, because it's like they read the comics, because they're getting this shit, like the performance right. They're just not getting the story right, and it's. I leave it up to women, man. They couldn't leave well enough alone, creating drama where they don't, like that sister fucking that coworker. Like, that didn't have to end that way. Like, he was gonna get a virus. Like, that's what happened in the comic. Like, he just got a virus. She turned around.
And I agree with you 100% on that, Mo. Like,
that
I was sitting here.
Women create drama when there needn't be one, or they're
Because
sad.
I was no, for real. Because it was weird watching that first episode where I'm just like, if this fool was gonna die anyway, does it matter what happens? Like, I don't like, and I say that like from a story perspective, not obviously like in a real world context. It's like, of course that matters, but it's like, what are we doing that for? If this fool like literally would have been dead, like half an hour later, either way.
That's gratuitous violence against men. That's all. But really, like,
they hate us.
Yeah. And that's the thing, a woman produced the show, a woman brought it to TV, and that's the thing. They need a male perspective. They need male representation on the Hollywood. They need male.
If only more men could be in television production, we might eventually get a fair shake.
At least for my comic books, like the comic books, like, it's like, fuck the male representation, the nerd representation. Can I just be the guy putting the finger at you, like, no, you can't do that.
Actually,
because I mean, like, the way everything played out, throw it. She doesn't. Throw it. It's gonna be good. God, see, I can't even.
She's about to throw something at you. What was that?
Well, because I told her, like, if I ever say something you don't like, just throw a shoe at me, And I was actually gonna buy a pop shoe because I know it's gonna hit me, so I gotta get something soft. And
it's gonna be like a Sketcher.
Well, right now it's gonna be her work shoe, so it's gonna be and I'll be out for the next. I said, throw it. I told her, throw it. Don't be afraid to throw it. But I can't even produce my wife, so of course, I hope I'm not the survivor that fucking here's all the
Oh, that's too funny, man.
I told her, like, when we were watching the show, I'm like, yeah, leave it to women to create drama where it doesn't need to be, And she's like, man, if you say that on the show, that's where I'm gonna throw something. Like, do it. Like, I want you to do that. Like, I want the camera to be on me when something just hits my face out of nowhere, and then I say, it's my wife. Yeah, I pissed off my wife. Like,
my wife.
Yeah. But I can't even produce that. No. That's why Harley died. That's why Harley died. She's like, fuck this.
Wait, what? Oh no. Damn it, Mo. Always
out. Yeah, I have to. Otherwise, I'd be crying.
There it is.
Yeah.
Also, Jay, we need that comment from Xenocore right there. That's hilarious.
Throw the chancla.
Yeah,
throw,
throw the chancla.
Yeah.
throw the chancla. I love it. But anyway, man. So I mean, like, I feel like I enjoyed episode one more than you all did, but at the same time, having actually read the first few issues of Why, I'm just like, okay, I don't even need to remember to know that this doesn't feel like the first issue. Like, I just know when it came out, and I could tell you, like, nah, the first issue didn't go down like this. I know that. And I'm not saying no, I guess I am saying, yeah, it should be like the first issue. Like, you know, like ideally it would be like, but at the same time, I found it interesting. Like the only thing that I looked at in that joint in this show where I was like, that feels a little weird is was that woman's name Hero in the comic? Like who names their kid Hero? I
Well,
mean Hero
some,
like Hero. Like
yeah,
not like Hero from like the show Heroes works.
yeah, because his name's not Hero, it's Hiro.
Right.
Nakamura. Yeah.
Right.
Claw wants to know what's the tone of the show is like. Is it a comedy, drama, or a bit of both?
It's drama.
It's a drama. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a drama.
Leave it to women to just create drama.
It does have some pathetic parts in it, though.
Throw the shoe.
It has some what parts?
Pathetic.
Sorry.
So I don't know if that's a tone or not, but
Not in TV. No, nobody tunes in for the pathetic.
What I did like is that like if you're because Tiger Claw earlier said I bet the anti-woke people are probably complaining about this show being all about women, and it's kind of like the perception I had about the comic was that it was going to be like an ultra woke thing before woke was an actual word colloquially, and I'm like, but it actually just really just broke it down from Brian K. Vaughan's perspective, and he just basically just showed you what he thinks people will go through, what women will go through in a world like that. Like, because there's all these factions. There's the Amazons, there's the like celibates and shit like that, and then there's just people that are like, you know what? I just wish I could just fuck. Like this shit sucks. Like I just want to fuck. We can't even fuck anymore, like, and it's just as simple as that. It's that animal, and it's like, you have all these ideologies that spring up, these ideologies that evolve, and it's like, I just want to fuck. I just want to fuck. I want to smell dirty armpit. Yeah, and it's like just simple shit like that. The animal, because we're all animals. Yeah, and then
Right.
I don't know if the show will get to that, but they are throwing a lot of modern shit, like they're anti-vaxxers and Trumpisms and shit like that, and it's fine. Like that's what Brian K. Vaughan would do if he would made the comic now.
Right.
It's okay, but I have no hope for a saga series. Like I hope that never comes to light, because everything
like TV show.
Yeah, like if anybody would ever like bring that out, like it's never gonna be what the comic is, because even woke people will be mad about it, because Brian K. Vaughan just creates these worlds where you have these concepts, and it's like, yeah, they're like, they didn't show like they did this with the trans people here, where it's like in the comic that wasn't as big a thing like as it is now, so they made a point to show trans people like, we got to get that testosterone, the hormones and shit, and it's like when the grid fails, that cold storage for that medication and those hormone treatments fails too, and they don't die even though they identify as male. Yeah, and that could be something that, like, if this show would have better ratings, they'd probably be mad about. Yeah, because it's like you're saying that they're biologically female no matter what, like at the baseline, and that is a very Brian K. Vaughan ism. Yeah, it's like you can live your life and enjoy what you want to enjoy and live how you want to live, but when the disaster comes, the disaster is gonna hit, and it doesn't care what you identify as. Yeah.
Oscar in chat says, "Is Lobo the new mascot, or does Boston get next?"
I don't know who the hell Lobo is. And I'm assuming, yeah, Boston's still alive. He outlived Harley. Yeah. They're around the same age.
It's true.
Yeah.
Xenocore says, "Nobody tunes in for the pathetic." Dude, that's every British sitcom.
That's hilarious. Look, I stand corrected, Jay. You're right.
Sir John says, "Why the Last Man proves that not only Netflix can make horrible comic book adaptations."
Damn.
Yeah.
And Xenocore says, "Saga was designed to be unfilmable, wasn't it?"
Look, by execution and what I've seen in Why the Last Man, Why the Last Man was designed to be unfilmable too, because they really make all the storylines, they boil them down to be shot in like one warehouse, and it's no longer, that big open world like that you see in the comics, like when you read a Preacher or any Vertigo book like that spans a big traveling, comics just gives you the freedom to really give your story out there. Like, Preacher
that's true.
Preacher is a guy that has the entity that is a demon and angel offspring in him that can actually defeat God, and he's just traveling through Utah and Monument Valley, fucking shit up. And I don't know, I didn't watch the TV show. That shit is a piece of garbage, but I can't see that be done on a like anamorphic lens, 72 millimeter film camera. Like, it needs that big wide shot of them going down the road, logistically. Why the Last Man was set up to fail in its look, like production wise. Like, it just looks bad. Like, it's all shot in one room. The wardrobe, it's like, oh yeah, they all went to REI because they think that's what's gonna be the survival thing. Like, no, you dress in the fucking the plastic sheet you get at Home Depot, because that'll keep you warmer than the REI shit. Yeah, but yeah, that's beside the point. I mean, I'm not looking at it for realism, hopefully, because I don't want the Y chromosome virus to really hit.
Xenocore says, "Wait, does Punchline kill Harley or something?" And no, unfortunately, Mo's dog Harley passed away.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, he
So-
was good for that.
I'll say this. I personally, and I could 100% be wrong here, but what I think is what I think. I think that Saga, I don't feel like Saga's unfilmable. You obviously need a budget behind it. It has to be a TV show. And yeah, you definitely have to go to like a premium channel. Like, it has to be like HBO.
I don't trust
HBO's work. Okay, either way, but whether you trust them or not, I feel like HBO is the place where if a Saga,
Max.
huh?
HBO Max.
I mean, that's all the same thing, right?
No.
Not in my
Okay.
mind.
Okay, either way, whether you talk about HBO or HBO Max, it's like you gotta have a budget where somebody's like, okay, we're gonna do this TV show, and we might spend like almost $1 million an episode, or we're gonna spend $1 million every episode, but it's gonna be okay because people are gonna come for it. Like, I feel like you can make a Saga TV show, and I feel like the sensibilities of Saga, because of the setting, works fine. Like, the stuff you brought up makes sense, Mo, but I just feel like it's one of those things where people will forgive it a little bit because it's space opera stuff, you know.
Saga only
And
works if it's animated.
you really
And at that
not
point,
not
I'd rather just read the comic.
You can't do, and I don't mean like I did say that wrong. I meant adaptation will only work if it's animated. Like I don't think you could do a live action Saga.
see. I would disagree. Like I feel like don't get me wrong. You can make an animated saga, and I'm not gonna be like, oh, I don't want to see that because I don't feel like how you feel, Mo. Where like I'd rather just read the comic. Like I want to read the comic too, but I'll take an animated saga series, especially if somebody is forking up the money for like a well animated show. Like I'll take that, and it could be like literally a direct adaptation, and I'll be like, I just want to see it move. I'm good with that, you know. But I do feel like it can be done live action, and I think a lot of people would resonate with that. Like people that wouldn't read the comic because unfortunately Americans don't know that comics are as awesome as they are. It's like they would watch Saga as a TV show when they talk about live action or animated and be like, this is amazing. So I don't know.
Sir John says comic. The protagonist is a Penn and Teller foolish type of guy. Hulu, got it. The protagonist is a bitch.
Damn.
Xenocore says, get the studio that did the animation for What If. Their animation is great.
Like,
I
I don't.
They would fit well. No, I guess the studio could be on what you call it, a model, but I don't know if I see their style or the What If style working for Saga, but maybe that's just me.
I'm I'm more concerned about the story. Like some of those things are a little too the pansexuality. Like people will be mad about these weird alien races fucking each other, even though they're male. You know?
Would they?
I think so. Yeah.
I don't know, man. I kind of feel like we're at a point where like people watch all type of TV shows now. Like,
Well, that's the thing. You're an optimist. Like you're thinking people are watching Sense8. Ain't nobody watching that in the
oh,
Midwest.
I'm not.
Yeah.
People do love to complain too.
Yeah.
Like they just had a thing with Gonzo. Like people were all pissed off.
The Muppet.
Yeah, like in the Muppet Babies show, he wears a dress, and people like the left were losing their shit.
Yeah.
Like, don't people watch like Pose? People like Pose is a TV show that people
But
watch, right?
yeah, but it's not like it doesn't get like it gets enough numbers for that network to have it in that time slot, but it doesn't get enough numbers for it to be like, okay, Pose is the shit. Like,
Okay,
yeah,
well, okay. Let me look. Let's say it like this: friggin' RuPaul's Drag Race
right,
is like a cultural phenomenon, right?
yeah.
Like they
Well,
just won another Emmy, like literally just like a week ago, right?
it's what Emmy.
What?
It's like their second Emmy, right?
Oh, I don't know, but
Yeah, no,
people
because
watch the show.
no, people didn't watch it for like 12 years. They're watching it in the last 3 years.
How can they not watch it for the last 12? Why would it be on still if no one was watching it?
Because it's on VH1. Nobody watches VH1. Like that's the
Oh,
thing. Like if
okay.
VH1, if you
It's like
can,
a niche.
if you can get 3,000 people to watch you on VH1, look. I stopped watching. What was it? The one with Brett Michaels. I was the one person that stopped watching. They canceled it because I was under the mark. It was 3 people watching it, and I was like, I just like Poison, you know. But I don't care who uses bucks, so I stopped watching it, and then they canceled it, you know. And it's like those numbers, especially those first 10 seasons of RuPaul, like before streaming shit, you know. But look, I'm not knocking RuPaul's Drag Race. I watch it. So, you know, I like it. But it's
Okay.
not like it's not RuPaul. I don't want to say she, but RuPaul tried to do a network talk show, and it failed.
Right.
So
Right.
it's like there's a group watching, and it's enough for VH1 to sell ad space.
Right.
But it's enough. It's good enough. It's not like setting the world on fire.
Well, now keeping in mind though that RuPaul tried to do a talk show like 4 or 5 years ago, right?
No, it was less. It was like a year ago, before the pandemic.
Really, just before the
Yeah.
pandemic?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
it was like a Rachel Ray show, but where RuPaul's like, oh, RuPaul's getting all these numbers on VH1. We can put her on Fox. It didn't fly on Fox.
That's fair. That's fair. Okay, that's fair. So yeah,
and I watched that talk show too. So
which
it's
one?
like you can't the RuPaul talk show. You
Gotcha.
can't fault me for that one failing. Yeah.
We're gonna blame Mo.
So,
Mo was
says, to be honest, I see in movie channels talking about the announcement of adaptation, and I read the comic. I didn't know about Invincible, Jupiter's Legacy, Citizen Alien, Sweet Tooth, Sandman, or Y. I read all of those this year.
damn. And I'm not mad at that. Like, if making a like multimedia thing, whether it's animated or live action, drives people to comic books, that like, in my mind, that's a win.
Yeah. It's a win for them. Lucky them.
A win for who? Lucky who?
For the people that go read the comic. Like they're putting up with a mediocre experience and then having a good one, whereas we had an awesome experience, and then it's like, oh, this is
well, but at the same time, though, it's like that's people reading comics that weren't reading comics before.
I don't give a shit about that.
Well, you should.
Why?
Because we want more people reading comics.
Why?
Like the creators make money from people reading their comics.
Look, you saw my new comic book day thing. Creators get the money from me. I bought 5 comics of the same one from the same independent creator that nobody knows. They get my money. I'll pay for the people. I'll pay for the people that never read the comics as long as I can get a good Why the Last Man TV show. Because all I really want is to experience. All I really want is to experience the shit I read attentively on the screen while I can just have my pants off and drink a beer without the work of actually reading. You know, I bought the comics originally. I bought the trade paper, I bought the single issues. I bought the trade paperbacks. I bought Liz the trade paperbacks. Like, you know, it's like I gave it to people as gifts. Like, there's a reason it's here now because I bought it 4 times over.
Right.
You know, because it's not like it was they don't say the hit selling comic Why the Last Man. You know, it's not like Watchmen, the groundbreaking comic based on they don't say that for Why the Last Man. They say based on the comic. They don't even say Vertigo on the credits. It's not based. It's based on the comic by Brian K. Vaughan and Pia Garrett. So it's because I follow the Brian K. Vaughan. Like, I buy what he does. I buy it 3 times over. And you know what? Look, that's why I stopped as soon as something says it's becoming an adaptation. I stopped buying it altogether. You know, what is it? Not Gravity Falls, the other one, Gideon Falls. 2 issues in, it's like, oh, it's been optioned. I'm out.
I was like, no, thank you.
Yeah. The Possession one with Robert Kirkman. I'm out.
Oh yeah. That's
Outcast.
Right.
I enjoyed the TV show because after 2 issues, I stopped reading the fucking comic. And I'm never gonna read the comic. I'm not gonna give it any more money. He got his money that he needed. He didn't need my money. He needed fucking Cinemax money. So he got the Cinemax money. He don't need my fucking money. So fuck his comic. I'll watch the TV show.
So should we rate this thing?
2 out of 5 for me.
Okay.
Jay, what will you rate it?
Me, I would also give it a 2 out of 5.
Damn, really?
I'm not feeling it, and trust me, it being on a Hulu exclusive does not help it. Like,
That's fair.
I have to go out of my way to try and watch it, and I'm not going to be doing that. And I'm definitely not
Right.
grabbing the Hulu for it. Which it's funny because I would like if they put it on Amazon like a lot of shows do, like you buy the season, $25 or whatever. I would have done that just to try it out, and then I would have been forced, kind of like pretty much forced to watch the whole thing because I paid for the whole thing.
Right. Right.
Subscribe. I'm not doing a monthly charge to Hulu, and even if I had a monthly chart, like a monthly thing to Hulu, I would probably just stop because I not invested. Like,
How many episodes did you watch? You watched two?
yeah,
Okay.
but it's like Hulu's got other stuff.
Right.
Look,
No, it's true.
they got Steve Martin Short on there.
I know, right? Like,
They got My Hero Academia.
Yeah. A lot of the anime, like it's simulcast, so you get it when Japan gets it on there. There's that, but you got the only murders in the building, Steve Martin and Martin Short together. Genius. It's great.
I've been hearing decent things about it.
Yeah. I love it. That's one of the things I would watch. It's one of the things I would talk about on the whatever insert witty alliterated title for a Fantastic Forum TV podcast. Here.
Ooh, we gotta figure that out, Jay. Alliterated TV podcast for Fantastic Forum. Anyway, I give it 3.5. Um,
Wow.
yeah, no, I liked it more than you all did. Like, I don't look. I'm actually shocked y'all gave it a two because I think it's a much better show than that. I can't mess around and be like it's terrible because I don't feel that way. At the same time, like I read some of the initial issues of Why the Last Man, so I see the differences, and I mean, it definitely doesn't feel like the comic in the way that I would hope it would. But at the same time, it's an interesting show, and I'm interested. Like I'm just like I want to watch episode two. I want to watch. Well, I want to watch all the episodes. Right? I think four is where they're at right now. So I'm gonna keep watching it, and maybe it'll be good. Maybe by the time I get to episode like three, I'll be like, y'all were right. I shouldn't be watching this. But as of right now, having watched only the first episode, I give it 3.5.
So the average score is 2.5 from the forum.
Now,
Look,
did you
if
count?
I was here, I would give it like a 4.
You don't
Well,
want that.
nah, he would actually be mad. Like he wouldn't have read the comics, and he would have gave the comic a lower score because there's too much women in it. Like, and he's like yeah, it's a comic for woke people. That's what he did.
That I was going to giving it that in 2021,
Honestly,
even though the comic was written in like 1999 or 2003.
the comic actually wasn't woke enough for me. Like, I would actually appreciate it a little more wokeness.
And that's the thing where it's like it did what it did. It just gave you a perspective of what somebody like. There could be
In early 2000s, woke wasn't a thing.
no, but the thing is, like,
I remember,
we have I'm having a problem with Black Hammer now because Black Hammer has a lot of side titles where it's like from the world of Black Hammer. It's like, dude, I'm trying to catch up on these superhero books, and they're amazing. And then I got like 12 different people giving me this in this type of world, these stories that are also amazing, and I can't keep up, And that's like why The Last Man is like that. Like you can do a story set in that world that has nothing to do with York, and it could be in and of itself, and it lends itself to that. So you can do that, but this show doesn't do that. It doesn't even try to do that.
I'm glad I didn't have to watch it.
You have to watch it because now you have to do a Why the Last Man one shot. That's your homework from your friends.
So, do you have any news?
We can do news, or I can just do a little bit of announcements and share a picture here and there.
All right.
We only got like 6 minutes left, right? Is that where we're at?
Have at it, Mo. Have at it.
Well, here's a little announcement here. Oz got to look at his package, so we got another 6 weeks of summer.
That's hilarious. Wait, you got a full screen, Mo.
Sorry, there it is.
And then you can, if he's sharing something, you can share it too.
That should be right.
But that's hilarious, huh?
What I'm sharing now, that should work. Yeah. So that's
oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's very nice.
Yeah. So that's out now. It actually debuted during the show. So if you're subscribed, you like to hit the bell. You got the announcement. If you didn't, the bell you get. This voice is the bell and alert you get instead of your smartphone telling you to watch this. This is me telling you to watch this.
Shout out to Oz. Wait, so that's like the summer, like is that like a Oz's package summer box?
Yeah, he subscribes to Culture Fly, and it's like a loot crate. If you watch that series of Oz's package unboxing,
yeah,
Culture Fly,
right.
you see the better shit and the more useful shit. So it's like you can have like your dinner china be a superhero dinner china. Yeah. Whereas your loot crate gives you, half a toy, and then they don't give you the other half because for some reason the boat is stuck in the port and they can't give you your loot crate box. So,
right.
but that's just part of it. But yeah, the newest one debuted today, and then I also I did a one shot. We've been trying to get into the new Spawn books. So there's I didn't pull a screenshot of that, but that's out to the Spawn King Spawn number
King
1.
Spawn number 2.
This King Spawn number 2 came out today. But
right.
if you know if you should buy it or not or get into it, there's a review for you on our YouTube King Spawn number 1 review.
Very nice, very nice.
It was, ironically enough, it was shot on location, unlike Why the Last Man, which is different. When we talk about the Wild West, we're in the Wild West. When we talk about a cemetery, I'm at a cemetery. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Fantastic Forum bring you to real.
Sir John in chat says, should I check the Old Guard, Super Crooks, Criminal, and Preacher? I would say check all that out in comic form. Avoid the TV shows.
No, I mean the Old Guard movie is a good movie.
Look, read the comics. Look, I
read the comics.
Because of Why the Last Man. From now on, it's read fucking comics. There's no more. You know what? Sweet Tooth was it could have been. Sweet Tooth was what it was. It was good. Fuck that. Read fucking comics. Read fucking comics.
No, you should
read fucking comics.
Fantastic Forum is always going to tell you to read comics. Like I don't. I've never read it.
Larry, we don't. We're not going to tell them to read comics. We're going to tell them to read fucking comics.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, do what Mo says.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying to you is this: we've never had a review or like you should just do like the movie or the TV show and don't worry about the comic.
I said that was MCU shit. Like yeah.
Wait, what?
All the MCU stuff. Just watch the MCU. Don't bother with the comics.
Don't listen to Moses in that regard. That's a bad move. But what I will say is this. The Old Guard was a cool movie. You should read the comic. Friggin', there's no Super Crooks movie yet. Read the comic. in regards to like Preacher, you should read the comic. You don't even necessarily have to watch the TV show.
Yeah.
Of course, says read Luke comics because they are fucking in it. Moses Magnum.
Amen. That's the quote.
I never said that. Not colloquially. At least.
Or did you? Or did you?
Not colloquially.
But it's like you have to work really hard for someone on Fantastic Forum to be like, hey, you don't need to mess with the comic books, just watch the movie or just watch the TV show. I know Moses says that about MCU stuff, but at the same time, MCU stuff is really goddamn good. And while I wouldn't agree with him, I can understand why he would say it.
Yeah.
About most of it.
That's your universe. Like, I have my comics, you have the movies. Like, eventually they're gonna fight. Like, when the theaters are struggling in 2060, they're gonna fight. You're gonna have the comics fight. It'll be Avengers versus Avengers, and it'll be like they're gonna use a hologram Tony Stark fighting a comic book Tony Stark on the big screen.
I would love to watch that. I would read it.
Stop eating the fried chicken and stop eating lard or bacon or whatever you eat. I don't know what you eat. You look pretty healthy to me. You're the fittest Fantastic Four member, and I'm putting you as the unhealthy one. That's why I'm saying you're not going to live to 2060, but you probably will. And
I will. We are going to live to 2060.
Not me. By 2060, I'll be too old. I'll be like 30.
You're so dumb. I hate him for saying that. You're gonna be 30 in 2060. So mad at him.
I'm not gonna play news music, but we should talk about the Hawkeye trailer that came out last week, right?
Oh yeah, which Jay, did we talk about that last week? I don't remember.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
We did. Okay.
Yeah, but
wasn't here.
Mo, what do you think?
It's okay. Like, it looks cool. I'll watch it if it's not on the Wednesday. If it comes out on Friday, I'll watch it. Like, the MCU is
Mo, it's all on demand. Why do you care when it comes out?
Because I only have I have to go to sleep at a certain time, and I have to go to work at a certain time, and usually the sleeping leads to work. And then I get off of work at a certain time, and that only gives me a window to watch TV right here.
But watch Hawkeye in the window.
If I want to read comics that aren't for the show, if I want to watch TV that isn't for the show, if I want to listen to music that isn't for Fraction of Forever, like, I have to do it in this time frame on Friday. Mm-hmm. And that's just what happens. And there's a lot of things competing for my attention. So as far as Hawkeye goes, it's like, look, it looks good. The way the MCU is going, it's like, I like Loki, I like WandaVision, I like this higher concept shit, this more street level shit. It's like, all right. And the MCU is turning into Marvel Comics for me, where it's like, okay, I'll read what I want to read and not need to read the rest. And that's a beautiful thing. Fair. Like, you have something
it is.
For everybody, and you have content for everybody. The fact that it all connects, it's like, that might wear people out 2 years from now. But right now, I'm enjoying that aspect of it. And eventually, I'm going to get to What If, and I'm going to try to, I'm definitely going to I'm going to watch the first episode of Hawkeye. Yeah. But I don't know if I'm going to stick with it like that. And eventually we're going to have MCU Heroic Age, where you can just watch whatever the fuck you want for a year before their next big event. Yeah.
Potentially. But what I will say is, every show the MCU has put out, you felt that way about until the show started, and then you're like, I gotta watch it.
Not What If. Clearly, I didn't feel that about What If. Otherwise,
that's true.
Yeah.
No, but that's because of your clear bias against animation.
No, it's not that. It's my clear bias against Wednesday. Like, I Wednesday,
right? Mo has not been in no way, shape, or form has been conditioned to think Wednesdays when he should think about comic book stuff. Never has that happened.
Emily and I went for sushi, and I gave her an hour window. Like I have to be at home at this time. I'm leaving work at the. I actually went to work this morning too, so I'm gonna leave here at this time. We're gonna have sushi at this time, and then from then on, it's show shit. If it wasn't a special occasion for us celebrating our anniversary of first eating sushi together, I wouldn't have. That wouldn't have happened. Wednesday, all I do is think, breathe, shit, sleep, fuck, show, Fantastic Forum on Wednesday. That's it.
That's why the show's bad because Mo's
Yeah.
fucking it.
Yeah. No, because I'm the only one doing that. That's why.
Well, no, I mean, look, but he
takes
doesn't.
four
He uses no protection.
Yeah. I wear my mask,
So final
and I'm
thoughts.
vaccinated.
So we should move on to final thoughts.
Yeah. Let's see. Where's that music?
Wait, Mo.
Yeah.
I thought you had like I thought we had like something loaded.
Hold on. What was that, Larry?
I thought we had like final thoughts or closing music loaded into
We
the
have
thing.
no. We have the final closing thing. Like after we leave,
Oh,
it's not
got
final
it.
thought music. Like
My bad.
yeah,
I'll let you
but
do what you do, Mo. My bad.
nah. The shit changed for some reason. Everything I play is a lot louder than it used to be. So let me see if I can adjust this, and then
That feels like it might work.
can you hear
Maybe
me?
you gotta
Can I talk over
lower
this
it a
one?
little.
Lower
No,
it
a
a
little
little.
lower, a little.
Okay.
That's too. We don't know. That might work. I don't know.
Can you hear me though?
I can definitely hear you.
Okay. Then
I'm not sure if we can hear the music, but I think we can.
yeah, the audience will hear it. You probably can't.
Right, that's fair.
One last thing. Oscar Bermejo says, "LOL." He thinks we'll have theaters in 2060. Sir John says, "To be honest, I don't even read them. Danny Malt has a channel voice acting comics. I don't know what that means. Maya's ass is too broke right now, saving for Raggedy Honda." Like you can read comics free online. I don't know what he said there, but I feel it in my heart. And there is websites where you can read comics for free. I don't recommend doing that. That's bad. But you know, they are subsidiaries of bigger companies. And as a shareholder in IDW, man, if you want to ever read IDW on bootleg and then tell us how much you love it here on the show, feel free to do that. But that's all I'll say about that. Oscar Bermejo also says, "Turn on the subtitles and it's like a comic on your TV." No, it's not like that. Sir John says, "Comic book voice actors, YouTubers are great. There are many of them. You have a luxury of choosing two you like." Yeah, no, I don't know nothing about that. But as final thoughts go, Larry, give us some final thoughts, man.
I will just say, like, you know, you all are awesome for supporting us. Please continue to do it. Like, subscribe on YouTube, and just all the other social media. Please, like, go ahead and like follow us, like, subscribe, like, let us know what you want us to talk about. We appreciate you. Thank you very much.
Joe, man, give us some final thoughts.
Okay. I was asked,
Project louder. The
I was asked
music turned
my
you out.
opinion on this. It's the new prototype for the Space Force uniform, or the service dress uniforms.
Yeah.
I'm not feeling them, but maybe if I get see like a full picture, like top and bottom, maybe it'll look different. But I don't know. Like offhand, I'm not exactly feeling it.
I didn't realize Space Force was still a thing.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, there goes my tax money. Yeah. As for the rest of Fantastic Forum, Oz is out, but you can see his package on YouTube, and it's better if you watch it in the morning. It's just bigger and ready for you, right? And we got the one shots there. If you don't like to see our faces, we do have an audio version of the show that you can get on Podbean, Pandora, not iHeartRadio. iHeartRadio can't doesn't want us, but everybody else, Castro, Castbox, all that. I'm not going to list them all, but anywhere you get audio podcasts, you can get an audio version of the show. And as always, this will be in the archive here on YouTube. And anything you need to find, you can get at fantasticforum.live. And with that, we're out. We'll see you next week. I don't know what we're talking about, but it's going to be awesome. Probably some comics, probably some TV show, probably some movies. Either way, you're going to have a good time. So be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and the bell so you don't miss our next live broadcast. And with that, we're really the fuck out. Peace.